Donald Trump just made a stunning admission about Ukraine, where he previously promised he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours because of his great relationship with Vladimir Putin, and he said his relationship with Zelensky. Now Donald Trump said at the United Nations meetings following his disastrous speech that, "I thought that this would be easy. I thought based on my relationships with Putin, we would get this done. Unfortunately, the relationship didn't mean anything." Well, that was one of your major campaign promises, that you had such a good relationship, you would end the war in 24 hours after the election. Now, Donald Trump then started posting on social media very forceful rebukes of Russia, very kind of strong statements against Russia. Then Donald Trump had his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, give interviews where she basically went from Donald Trump being a Putin bootlicker to she's saying basically, if Putin wants to fight, bring it on, let's go and let's fight. It's kind of a major dramatic change after a social media post. Now, as you know, I feel very strongly that Donald Trump had betrayed Ukraine. Donald Trump had not imposed the sanctions that were necessary. What Donald Trump did when he invited Vladimir Putin to Alaska was one of the most humiliating days in American history, maybe tied with Donald Trump's disastrous speech at the United Nations, or the day before that when Donald Trump said, "Pregnant women do not take Tylenol." But look, I think that there should be strong support of Ukraine. So ultimately, if he actually does that with his conduct and supports Ukraine, well, we'll see. His conduct usually doesn't match his words and his rhetoric, but it's also the chaos in his words and rhetoric too, though, right? That all of a sudden he's got a press secretary out there basically saying, "All right, Russia, bring it on, Putin. You want to fight? We're going to fight." So as our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, said, we've come a long way from no new wars and ending it easily in 24 hours. Tell me again, MAGA, how this is what you voted for, because we know you voted for a cult leader, not policies or principles. So as I always do here on the MeidasTouch Network, I come with receipts, right? It's not me saying hyperbolic things. I go, here's what's said, so you can judge for yourself. So here was Donald Trump next to French President Emmanuel Macron, and Donald Trump says, "I thought it was going to be easy to end this war because of my relationship with Putin, but I guess my relationship means nothing." Here, play this clip.
The biggest disappointment, but I think that'll happen eventually, is the Ukraine and Russia situation. But we've settled. I thought that was going to be the easiest one because of my relationship with Putin, but unfortunately that's the relationship didn't mean anything, unfortunately. But when I needed some advice and when I needed some help in terms of a country in that part of the world, you were always there. And you helped me settle some of these 7 wars. I'm very proud of the 7 wars, but you helped me settle them, and I appreciate that.
And then Donald Trump calls Russia a paper tiger and says, "I don't know what they are, but 3.5 years of fighting and killing everybody for nothing." Here's what he says. By the way, I think that Donald Trump is a paper tiger. I think Donald Trump wants to spend his time blowing up fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela instead of addressing what is actually needed if you're the United States. But here's what he says. Play this clip.
This side can fight too, and they've proven that. Maybe it's it could be that Russia's a paper tiger. I don't know what they are, but 3.5 years of fighting and killing everybody, of killing 7,000 people a week for nothing, So it's a very sad situation, but most of you have seen the recent statement I put out a little while ago, and I'm glad you got it. But I feel that way. I really do feel that way. Let them get their land back. Yep. So we'll see how it all works out.
No, but notably, Donald Trump wasn't even aware that there were alleged drone incursions into Denmark. I'm not even sure he knew where Denmark or Copenhagen even is when he was asked questions about it. Let's show you this right here.
Have you been briefed on the latest alleged drone incursions in Denmark? What do you think of that?
And where are they?
In Denmark, Copenhagen. Denmark is saying that there were some drones that shut down the airport, possibly Russian sabotage. What's your response to that? Will the U.S. have a material?
Well, I have no response until I find out exactly what happened. I know about it, but they don't know what happened. but we're going to find out very soon.
But ultimately, when Donald Trump was standing next to President Zelensky of Ukraine, Trump's prognosis of the war, of Russia's invasion in Ukraine, is that it looks like it's not going to end for a long time. Here's what he says. Let's play it.
And it looks like it's not going to end for a long time.
And then Donald Trump is asked, so what's your message to Viktor Orban, your very close friend, the leader of Hungary, who gets all the oil from Russia? Hungary is part of the European Union, and they cause a lot of problems with the European Union under Viktor Orban. But Donald Trump has attacked the European Union for buying Russian oil, when the European Union does not really buy direct from Russia at all. Hungary does, Slovakia does, and previously, Viktor Orban sent Donald Trump a letter complaining that Ukraine was hitting Russian oil depots, which provide Hungary with oil. And then this was like a month ago, right? Then Donald Trump wrote back a handwritten note to Orban saying this is deeply unfortunate, and I am very upset that Ukraine is striking the oil depots, and tell Slovakia I say hi. So within a matter of a month, Trump went from telling Orban it makes him upset that Ukraine was hitting the Russian oil depots to now saying that he's going to call Orban and tell Orban to stop buying Russian oil. It's just, he's not... that would be great, actually, if Orban did that. But the issue is Trump is so reckless with his words that he doesn't even know what the hell he's saying. But I guess at least if he's saying Orban shouldn't buy Russian oil, it's not a bad thing for him to be saying, but he doesn't know the words that are even coming out of his mouth, it seems, which is reckless and dangerous and malicious. But here, play this clip.
Your message to President Orban, who is refusing to stop buying Russian oil?
Well, he's a friend of mine. I have not spoken to him, but I have a feeling if I did, he might stop. And I think I'll be doing that.
When was the last time you truly trusted the seafood you brought home? I used to question everything from nutrition and taste to sustainability until I discovered Wild Alaskan Company. Wild Alaskan Company is the best way to get wild-caught, perfectly portioned, nutrient-dense seafood delivered directly to your door. Trust me, you haven't tasted fish this good. I was so excited the first time I received my shipment from the Wild Alaskan Company. I received my Pacific halibut and pan-seared it that evening. It was delicious. The Wild Alaskan Company is 100% wild-caught, never farmed. This means there are no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives. Just clean, real fish that support healthy oceans and fishing communities. It's nutrient-rich and full of flavor. Wild Alaskan's fish is frozen off the boat to lock in taste, texture, and nutrients like omega-3s. My favorite, it's also sustainably sourced. Wild caught from Alaska, every order supports sustainable harvesting practices. And your membership delivers flexible shipments, expert tips, and a truly feel-good seafood experience. If you're not completely satisfied with your first box, Wild Alaskan Company will give you a full refund, no questions asked. No risk, just high-quality seafood. Not all fish are the same. Get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/Meidas for $35 off your first box of premium wild-caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/Meidas for $35 off your first order. Thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for sponsoring this episode.
And then when Trump is asked, so can you update us on your conversations with Putin? We'd like to know, do you still trust Putin? So Donald Trump doesn't say no, should be the basic answer. What do you think he says? 2 weeks? 2 weeks? 1 week? 2 weeks? No. He says, I'll let you know in about a month from now. Here, play this clip so you can hear it for yourself.
Any update on your talks with President Putin, and do you still trust him?
I'll let you know in about a month from now, okay?
And then Donald Trump says this was all supposed to be so quick. It was all going to be so quick, the war in Ukraine. We were going to deal with it quickly. But this has not distinguished Russia. Russia doesn't look very distinguished. They're a terroristic state. What do you mean they don't look distinguished? They want to kill innocent Ukrainians is what they want to do. Here, play this clip.
It's still going on, and that's not a good thing for Russia. This was supposed to be quick. And so, Russia doesn't look very distinguished, having taken 3.5 years now, right? It's about 3.5 years of very hard fighting. And it looks like it's not going to end for a long time.
Even Turkey's authoritarian president, Erdogan, he was like, yeah, Donald Trump was out there saying that he would bring an end to the war in Gaza in 24 hours and he would stop the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. And Erdogan's like, but here we are. Here we are right now. So what the hell is this guy even doing? This is from Erdogan, who Donald Trump likes to say that he's close with. Here, play this clip.
So how does this come to an end? Much like Russia-Ukraine, how can this come to an end? Is there a deal that can be made?
Ben sadece şunu söyleyeyim.
I can only say this. Mr. Trump,
Bir ifade
you might remember he's used a term
Ukrayna savaşını
when
ben bitiririm.
he said, I will finish the Russia-Ukraine war.
Bitti mi?
Did it end?
Hala devam ediyor.
It still goes on.
Aynı şekilde
Similarly,
Gazze savaşını ben bitiririm.
he said, I will finish the war in Gaza.
Bitti mi?
Did it end?
Hayır.
No. That means
Demek ki
once we start analyzing the issue, there are prices to pay.
faturalar ödeniyor.
And when we look at the hostage exchange, that was done. It goes on.
Then even watch Zelensky's face during this portion right here, where Donald Trump is asked, do you think NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace? And Trump says, I do. And Zelensky's like, oh, really? Okay. Where did that come from? Watch this here. Play this clip.
Mr. President, do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
Mr. President,
And then Trump posted this long screed that was very supportive of Ukraine. He posted this yesterday. He goes, he posted it on Tuesday. After getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, and after seeing the economic trouble it is causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. With time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started is very much an option. Why not? Russia has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years, a war that should have taken a real military power less than a week to win. This is not distinguishing Russia. In fact, it is very much making them look like a paper tiger. When the people living in Moscow and all the great cities, towns, and districts all throughout Russia find out what is really going on with this war, the fact that it's almost impossible for them to get gasoline through the long lines that are being formed and all the other things that are taking place in their war economy, where most of their money is being spent on fighting Ukraine, which has great spirit and only getting better, Ukraine would be able to take back their country in its original form, and whom knows, maybe even go further than that. Putin and Russia are in big economic trouble, and this is the time for Ukraine to act. In any event, I wish both countries well. We will continue to supply weapons to NATO for NATO to do what they want with them. Good luck to all. I mean, you hear him say, that right there, which is diametrically different than what he says the day before. The issue is, he's going to go and say more crap tomorrow that's probably going to contradict this, which is what Zelensky recognized when he did an interview on Fox after the UN meetings, where he was like, look, what Trump said, if he's meant it, is, a pretty shocking admission, but it's positive, for Ukraine. It's positive signals. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. We have to see the conduct. Here, play this clip.
I know your staff read the post from President Trump that he posted on Truth Social after your meeting, but in part he said this: after getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, and after seeing the economic trouble it is causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. With time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started is very much an option. Are you surprised to hear that?
A little bit. A little bit. I mean, I'm sure in my people, in my army, and I'm sure in strengthening of in support of the United States. But President Trump was more positive in it. And he showed that he wants to support Ukraine to the very end. So we understand now that we are ready to finish this war as quick as possible. And he wants, and I want, and our people want. But he understands that Putin doesn't want, and he understands that he is not winning, but he says to everybody that he will win. And I see very it was a little bit surprise for me. You're right. I was very positive signals from the side that Trump and America will be with us to the end of the war. Yes, as we will see. Right? We will see, but God bless, it will be so.
And here, Caroline Levitt on Fox on Tuesday night says the president has said if Vladimir Putin wants to keep fighting, well, the president knows how to fight. So now, like, challenging directly a fight, or just think, but just think about the chaotic policy, right? It just, one post and then all of a sudden everything changes. Here, play this clip.
But the president has said if Vladimir Putin wants to keep fighting, well, the president knows how to fight. But ultimately, always, Jesse, the president has wanted peace. He's wanted this war to come to an end, and he's made that very clear since he came into office in January.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.